And welcome to this week's picks on the channel. I'm Steve Deace with Aaron McIntyre. And between travel, sickness, these have been some... October was a sporadic month for the picks, no doubt about it. So, Aaron, I don't even remember where we are, brother. So get us all caught up, please.
All right. I think this is from a couple of weeks ago. You picked Oregon over Wisconsin. Got it. Indiana. Nebraska over Northwestern. Got it. For Michigan over Michigan State. Washington over Illinois. You picked Minnesota to beat Iowa, just a bit outside, and Rutgers over Purdue. Rutgers over Purdue, that was correct. Yeah, I remember that now. And then your bonus pick was Minnesota plus 8.5 over Iowa. Also missed on that one. I had Oregon, Indiana, Michigan, Nebraska, Iowa. I thought Illinois would triumph over Washington. Wrong. And I thought Purdue would get their first conference win over Rutgers. Wrong. But I did correctly pick Illinois and Washington, that total over 54.5. So yet again, just creeping right up, right behind, creeping up even with you, Steve, or approaching even with you, not behind you. 455 you lead to 448 going into this week's matchups.
And this is kind of the last week where the matchups are So the last few weeks of November is when everybody's playing everybody, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities for variance. But we've got one more kind of week. Let's get it on. All right, I'm going to go. This is an easy 7-pointer. Ohio State over Purdue. The 6-pointer, USC over Northwestern. I like Washington to go on the road and beat Wisconsin despite the time change. I've got 4 on Indiana over Penn State. More on that in a moment. I'm going to have Maryland beat Rutgers for the reasons I talked about on the daily show or the weekly show when you asked me about that. I just think it's a good matchup for Maryland. I've got Iowa to pull the upset against Oregon at home. I thought they'd get at least one of Oregon or Indiana. They should have maybe gotten Indiana. Might have gotten them if Gronowski doesn't get hurt. And I think they're going to get the Ducks this weekend. And then I've got UCLA over Nebraska, but I could see that game go one of a million ways. Now, as for my bonus pick, there were really not a lot of lines in our league that I liked this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play more of a hunch that the highest ever ranking in the college football playoffs, going on the road, one of the tougher road trips in our league to State College. You go on the road. There's still a lot of young guys in that Penn State program that probably would prefer to be in Florida for the holidays than Pennsylvania, that still think they have something to play for. Still a lot of 4-star recruits in that program. I think they're going to circle the wagons a bit this week and play their guts out. And this might be the battle of the bulge, the last stand here for Penn State. And I think that plus the burden of carrying all those expectations and weights of the ranking and everything else that this program is just not used to. I think Indiana will win, but I think Penn State's going to make it a 4-quarter game. So I'm going to take Penn State and the now 15-point spread. And that's really a big factor, too. If it was still 13.5, I'm probably picking Washington instead.
It's a big point.
Since you're getting me over that second touchdown now, you're kind of screaming for a backdoor cover a bit, in my view. So I'm going to take Penn State and the points.
Grunkemeyer is pretty competent. I was really impressed with him when I saw him in person against Penn State a few weeks ago when he played at Iowa. To come into Iowa and Kinnick Stadium at night, and you were just competent. You weren't lighting the world on fire, but you weren't a detriment to your team. Now, again, that sounds like faint praise. I don't mean it as such. That's a pretty big accomplishment. Last week, you were okay. I was kind of shocked when I saw I think it opened at 13.5, Indiana being a favorite against Penn State. That kind of made me raise my eyebrows. So that's a good bonus pick for me. Also, Ohio State over Purdue in the 7 spot. USC over Northwestern, although USC only a 2-touchdown favorite against, I think Northwestern is much better this year than what we've given them credit for. Now, yes, they should have beaten Nebraska a couple of weeks ago. I just think everybody wrote them off after that disastrous opening weekend loss at Tulane, but Northwestern has actually been very good this year. Again, I don't want this to sound like faint praise, but compared to what we were expecting going in, I think they've overperformed. Indiana at Penn State, I've got them in the 5 spot, but I am concerned about that trap or just kind of easily overlooked game they've got at Beaver Stadium. Washington over Wisconsin is my 4-point play. Rutgers over Maryland, actually, I've got at 3 points. I see you've got Maryland over Rutgers at 3 points, so there's a 6-point swing right there. I do think Rutgers will notch another conference win against Maryland. I don't know where the psyche of Maryland's team is. You just got shellacked. You just got shellacked by Indiana, and you had Mike Loxley complaining, was it this week or last week or both weeks, about some recruits taking money to go on a visit to South Carolina. Like, what are you thinking about in the middle of the season? Nebraska over UCLA. I have a mild upset there. I'm really iffy about that line. So I think Nebraska comprehensively probably a better team than UCLA, although not at the position that matters the most. But I'm just taking a flyer on Nebraska over UCLA. And then one, I've got Oregon over Iowa. Again, this is a game where Oregon, this would be a signature win for them. Make no mistake about it. It's going to be a really great atmosphere, really tough trip on the road. And they're not a team that just likes to, this is not, again, I just want to reiterate this. This is not Chip Kelly's Oregon. This is a Big Ten Oregon team. They can play Iowa's style if they want to. I'm not super confident in Oregon. Maybe this is just an emotional hedge for me. I don't know. But I do think they will eke out a win over Iowa. My bonus pick is Iowa-Oregon over 44. That point there, that total has come down by 4.5, 5 points since it came out.
All right. Good stuff, my friend. As always, we'll find out when we meet up again next week, whether you were able to take the lead or you are still not behind me, but not even with me. I think that's how we're defining it now, correct?
Yes.
Not behind me, but uneven. Right?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I like it. You're welcome. All right. We'll see you next week.